Hello, this is a guide on getting an Interceptor kill with nothing more than about 5 million credits in less than an hour. And it doesn't take a ton of skill either. I'm gonna make a ton of mistakes throughout this entire video, almost constantly. But it might actually be helpful for this guide, so you can see how I make the mistakes and how I recover from them. The Anti-Xeno Initiative, the AXI online, has really great guides on ship builds and things like that, but they're more focused on the end game. Their cheapest starter ship is, I believe, an unengineered Vulture, clocking in at about 25 million. For people who are just starting the game, that's actually a lot of money. As I said, we're starting with about 5 million. I'm not even starting with a ship. I'm buying all of that now. This ship build will be in 2 phases. All the standard components will be purchased at one station, and then all the anti-Xeno specific equipment will be purchased elsewhere. For a beginner, there's a lot to unpack in this video, but I'm not going to go into detail about the non-Thargoid specific things. I want to show everything on screen, but I'm not going to talk about it. If you have any questions, just let me know. The ship I'll be using is a Vulture Mark III. It's not very sturdy, but it's extremely fast, which means, if nothing else, you can use your speed to defend yourself. And if you make a mistake, you can get to safety quicker and reset and try again more quickly than if you had a slightly stronger but slower ship that would just get annihilated and send you back to the respawn. But even though it doesn't have a lot of firepower, it's plenty enough to get this Interceptor kill. Once we built out the core of the ship, we're gonna need to find the specialized anti-Xeno equipment. They're available at what's called hospital ships. They're found on your map at these green and blue icons. So we'll take our partially completed ship and make our way there. This ship does not have a ton of jump range, so by default I recommend that you have your route settings to plot the most efficient rather than the fastest route. An Interceptor kill is worth 8 million credits. So by the end of this video, we'll have paid for our investment. This video is less than 30 minutes long. I've cut out some of the pretty routine traveling, etc. I've cut out some of the pauses and mistakes. I'd say realistically this took me about 45 minutes. And if you're a total beginner, there's so much to unpack in this video. It might take you significantly longer, but I show everything that I'm doing. Hopefully demonstrate enough for you to figure out what to learn next.
4, 3, 2, 1,
The hospital ship will show up in your external panel under the list of contacts. I've been calling it a hospital ship, but it's a rescue ship.
fuel scoop disengaged. Warning.
I'm just learning how to use a Super Cruise overdrive, and I watch it pretty much every time. So, gonna spare you the loops of shame.
Docking request granted.
I left an auto dock on this build in case you're still not accustomed to manual landings, but I also think manual landing is also some of the most fun you can have in Elite. So
Landing
if you want to
gear
replace
deployed.
that with another hull reinforcement module, that's up to you.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
So you're gonna want 2 of these 2E enhanced AX multicannons. Make sure you get the gimbaled versions. Those are going to be the most expensive parts of your build. You're going to want a caustic sink launcher. That'll protect you from caustic damage, which you can manage in other ways, but this is the easiest way. Make sure to put your new equipment into appropriate fire groups. This is the setup I recommend. Okay, the next hard part is actually finding where the best place to fight the Thargoids is. So if you go into the galaxy map, and on the left side, you switch to Thargoid War mode,
Ship released.
you'll see these clusters of icons where the Thargoids are. The best place for beginners to start fighting Thargoids is defending in the red systems. Once you select one of these red icon systems, make sure to open the Thargoid information panel on the right. In this case, it says the defensive window ends in 6 days, so this is still a system worth going to and defending.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
As soon as you arrive in the targeted system, you're going to look for the installations that are under attack. They'll actually be marked with a special hazard background on them. They'll be really easy to spot. In this case, we are heading to defend Fluorine Prospect.
Warning, frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Again, I botched the Super Cruise here, so skipping all that noise. This particular installation requires the Horizons expansion to approach, but there are other installations that don't require the expansion. If you've ever landed at a planetary installation before, you'll notice something different this time around. It's not going to be a serene and peaceful experience. You're approaching in the middle of a combat zone. Nevertheless, your first objective is to ignore all the combat and land at this port. The reason being you want to set your respawn point here so that if anything goes wrong, you won't be too far away. This particular installation is on the dark side of the planet. Make sure you turn on your night vision so that you're not running into the surface of the planet.
Docking request granted.
This system is crawling with Thargoids. If we don't push them back, we'll be overrun. Think you can handle it?
Again, I botched the landing here.
Engines disengaged.
But as soon as I land,
Ship released. Engines
to set my respawn, I'm gonna relaunch and get into battle. The first phase of the battle involves
Let's kill some Thargoids.
clearing the field of these little scouts.
target destroyed. Target destroyed.
As soon as you clear out this first wave, you get 500,000 credits, along with any bounties you receive per ship. And the Interceptor itself will show up. If you're just starting out, you don't have to turn your attention to the Interceptor. You can keep fighting these little scouts until you're comfortable. These scouts are a great way to practice orbiting. Okay, this is it. This is the big baddie. First thing it'll do when it appears is to fire an energy surge, which will shut down your ship. Again, there's multiple ways of dealing with this. For us, what we're going to do is we're going to point our ship in a safe direction, and we'll just coast with our momentum off into a safe distance.
Reboot sequence initiated. Thrusters online. Frameshift anomaly detected.
First thing you want to do is switch to your scanner, switch to your enhanced xenoscanner, and maintain an orbit between 1 and 2 kilometers, and hold down your scanner until it completes. Now we can see that this is a Cyclops variant. You'll also be able to recognize them visually once you get more familiar with them. The scanning also allows us to sub-target the hearts of the Interceptor, which are what we're going to need to shoot to kill it. As you notice on the field with you, there are a lot of NPCs. They're gonna provide a lot of help, but the one thing they're not that great at is killing the hearts. So that's what you're here for. Once an Interceptor has taken a significant amount of damage, it's going to extrude a heart to repair itself. But at the same time, the heart will become vulnerable to getting shot at. There's two ways to confirm that you sub-targeted the heart correctly. One is to visually confirm that that little red box is highlighted over the glowing orange heart. There, the heart pops, the Interceptor screams. Right after a heart pops, you can stop firing, but maintain your orbit. The Interceptor will put up a temporary shield. You can see that in the target display as a new yellow ring. You can shoot this down, but it also goes away by itself. So, since we don't have a ton of ammo, we're just going to be patient. Okay, now we're in phase 2 of 5 of this fight. Each phase roughly corresponds to 20% of the Interceptor's health. You can see the NPCs are doing a ton of damage and the heart has already been exerted. I've screwed up my orbit here. I've gotten way too far. I'm trying to stay between 800 to 1500 meters. And there, second heart popped. Waiting for the shield to go away. Again, I've screwed up my orbit. I'm boosting to get back in range.
Under attack.
And we're in phase 3 of 5. Okay, here I'm getting targeted by the Interceptor. I should be running at this point. But instead of running away, I accidentally flew directly towards the Interceptor.
Warning, hull breach attack. Taking internal damage.
So it got off a lightning attack on me, which wasn't too bad. But you'll see I make this mistake several more times. The third heart is out. You can see my speed dropped to almost nothing. That's because it hit me with a lightning attack, which not only does a lot of damage, but slows me to a crawl. Something strange happens here. Something else is shooting me. I think it's another Interceptor that I'm not paying attention to. I noticed I was being attacked in time, and I ran. So this is the nice thing about practicing by defending an installation. Repairs and resupplies are very close.
Docking request granted.
I'm going to skip another botched landing
Successful.
and then get right back into the action. The downside of going to repair is that you might get a little disoriented and lost.
Engines engaged.
Here I'm trying to find the Interceptor that I was fighting. Scanning the whole sky trying to find it. I see these two. I'm not sure if they are the ones. That one in the target display still says research scan ready, which means it's not the one that I already scanned. So I'm going to check the other one. Yep. That's it. It's at 60%. Top of phase 3. It's already been scanned. I can target the hearts. And in fact, there's one at 17%. So I'll get right on it. And it pops. Now something special happens at the end of phase 3. Same as when it first appears, it's gonna fire an energy pulse. At this point I make a slight mistake. I panic and I boost away from the Thargoid. Which is fine. It keeps me safe, but it also I'm going way too fast. By the time my ship recovers, I've gotten disoriented and I've lost track of where the fight is. So make sure you fly away from danger, but don't panic. No need to launch yourself at an insane speed away from the field of battle. I get lucky a second time here, and I find my Interceptor again. It's at the top of stage 4 with an extruded heart. sometimes if you take too long to kill a heart, the heart can retract, and someone, probably the NPCs, will have to do more damage to the Interceptor to get it to extrude its heart again and repair itself. I make a huge mistake here. I screw up my orbit insertion and I drop right next to the Interceptor. By the time I can regain control of my ship and boost away, it has stripped away all my shields and more than a third of my hull. I can't afford to make too many mistakes like that. I recommend you do all of this in solo mode. In general, I advocate for playing in mode. But at least your first couple times through, you should be learning in solo. Otherwise, other players might kill the Interceptors for you, or they might shoot your ship and blow you up. It's kind of hard to get a handle on what's going on, and you have to take into account other players' behavior. My orbits are getting sloppier and sloppier. But somehow managed to pop the fourth heart. And now we're in phase 5. Phase 5 is the easiest phase, because there's no heart at the end of this. Now, you just shoot it until it dies. $8 million credits, and hopefully had a lot of fun.